Imagine spending years chasing something, not just wanting it, needing it, believing that once you finally had it, everything would change. Maybe it was money, maybe it was success, maybe it was love, maybe it was recognition. Whatever it was, you told yourself the same story millions of people tell themselves every day. When I get there, I'll finally be happy. And for a while, that belief works. It gets you out of bed. It keeps you moving forward. It helps you survive difficult days, because somewhere in the future, a better life is waiting, or so you believe. Then one day, you get it. The promotion, the dream job, the relationship, the success, the thing you've been chasing for years. And for a moment, it feels incredible. But then something strange happens. The excitement fades, the novelty fades, and a question begins to emerge. If this is what I wanted, why don't I feel different? Most people live under the spell of a promise that sounds different for everyone. For some, it's wealth. For others, it's love. For others, it's fame. But the message is always the same. Once I get this thing, life will finally begin. It's a seductive idea because it gives our struggles meaning. Every sacrifice feels worthwhile. Every setback becomes temporary. Every difficult day becomes part of a larger story. The story of who we'll become once we finally arrive. But hidden inside this promise is a dangerous assumption. The assumption that happiness lives somewhere in the future, waiting patiently at the finish line. Imagine training every day for 15 years. While your friends are sleeping, you're training. While they're celebrating birthdays, you're training. While they're traveling, falling in love, making memories, you're training. Every sacrifice is justified by a single image. Standing on an Olympic podium, hearing your national anthem, wearing a gold medal around your neck. Then finally, the day arrives. The race begins. The crowd roars. And somehow, you win. The dream becomes reality. For a moment, it's everything you imagined. But something unexpected happens to many athletes after achieving their greatest goals. A feeling of emptiness. Because the mountain they spent years climbing is suddenly gone. The goal that gave structure to every day has disappeared. And for the first time in a long time, they face a question they never expected. So, what now? Actor Jim Carrey once said something remarkable. He said, "I wish everybody could get rich and famous and have everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer." Think about that. The person saying this wasn't a failure. He was someone who achieved what millions dream about. Money, success, recognition, everything. And yet his conclusion was not what most people expected. Because success can solve many problems. It can buy comfort, freedom, opportunities, security. But there are certain questions success cannot answer. Who am I? What makes life meaningful? What is enough? And sooner or later, everyone must face those questions alone. Now imagine winning the lottery. Not a few $1,000s, millions. Enough money to completely transform your life. Most people assume this would guarantee happiness. After all, who wouldn't be happy with unlimited financial freedom? But reality is more complicated. For many lottery winners, the excitement eventually fades. The mansion becomes normal. The luxury car becomes normal. The dream lifestyle becomes normal. The extraordinary becomes ordinary. Because human beings have an incredible ability to adapt. We adapt to good things, we adapt to bad things, we adapt to almost everything. And what once felt extraordinary eventually becomes part of everyday life. Perhaps the problem isn't that we chase goals. Goals matter, dreams matter, ambition matters. The problem is what we expect those goals to do for us. We don't just want success. We want what we think success will make us feel. We want peace, confidence, belonging, security, meaning. And that's where things become complicated, because goals can change your circumstances, but they cannot automatically change your relationship with yourself. A new job won't magically remove self-doubt. More money won't automatically create purpose. Fame won't automatically create fulfillment. The external world can change dramatically, while the internal world remains exactly the same. There is something fascinating about the horizon. No matter how far you travel, it keeps moving. You never actually reach it. Human desire works in a similar way. When you're struggling financially, you dream about money. When you have money, you dream about status. When you have status, you dream about significance. When you achieve significance, you search for meaning. The target keeps moving. Not because you're broken, because you're human. And if you're not careful, you can spend your entire life chasing horizons, always arriving, never feeling arrived. Imagine a climber preparing for years to reach the summit of a mountain. Every day they train. Every day they push themselves. Every day they dream about standing at the top. Finally, after years of effort, they reach the summit. The view is breathtaking for a few minutes. Then something unexpected happens. The mountain remains. The sky remains. The world remains. But the overwhelming feeling they imagined never arrives. And that's when many climbers realize something important. The summit was never the whole story. The climb was. The challenge was. The growth was. The person they became along the way mattered more than the destination itself. Perhaps the sadness of getting what you wanted isn't a sign that something is wrong. Perhaps it's a reminder that no achievement can permanently carry the weight of a human life. No trophy, no paycheck, no relationship, no destination. Because life was never meant to be lived entirely in the future. The problem isn't having goals. The problem is believing that life begins after those goals are achieved. Because if happiness always waits at the next destination, we'll spend our entire lives arriving and never truly living. Maybe that's why so many people feel strangely empty after achieving what they wanted most. Not because the goal was meaningless, but because they expected the goal to provide something it never could: meaning, purpose, peace. These things don't exist at the finish line. They exist in how we live, in relationships, in growth, in ordinary moments, in the journey itself. And perhaps the greatest tragedy isn't failing to achieve your dreams. Perhaps the greatest tragedy is achieving them only to realize you forgot to live while chasing them.